morning, everyone, and welcome to Viva Cafe con Leche. I am the badass Buddha Lori Monaco, coming to you from a cloudy southern Connecticut. I know I'm Gladiator Guru did that.
It sets me off. Sorry.
I know, and you know what? And it does the tribe as well, because we've had that happen before where we've done that, where I came on after you and we were talking and people would comment going, I'm not used to having you on that side. So thank you for that. Anyway, good morning. I was going to say it's cloudy here in southern Connecticut, but then the sun just came out. So I don't know what kind of day it is, but anyway, it is hot and humid. It is definitely summer. We've skated it, but it's been uncomfortable the last couple of days. Of course, nothing like where Gladiator Guru lives, but she has taken a reprise from that, so she's not in that horrible heat, but she's getting hit with it as well. So anyway, welcome everyone and happy Thursday.
Yes, happy Thursday, June 29th, Maron. It's like the time is flying, but at least right now it is 66 here in Antonia and high of 82, but then it goes back down. Like last night was such a cool breeze, and you don't get that in Florida. It's just hot and hotter. So I'm happy I'm home. I'm happy I am home in my state, and I'm going to make the best of every moment. It was one thing I always would tell people in Florida. I say, you guys don't even know what a cool breeze is. But here you do every morning and in the evening. So yes, happy Thursday, mi gente. I am La Margarita, your gladiator guru. And let's make it do what it do today on the last show of this, right? Of this quarter, of this subject.
That was easy for you to say.
Carmen, Melissa, hola.
We're like, couldn't get it out.
I'm thinking quarterly, it's all coming. I haven't had my coffee yet, mi gente. So
that's all right. That's okay. Well, and that's why we're here, for us to have the coffee.
And I love that Carmen's on. You got to learn this song so we can say, Carmencita, tú tienes un no sé qué. I used to sing that to her for 20 plus years. Hola, Toji. Okay. And what are we talking about today? It's very exciting.
Today is the last day of our Behaviors and Habits Month, and it has been a really good month. So today is what's next. We're going to sort of review about our conversation about beliefs, behaviors, habits. We talked about beliefs in May, I think it was. And I have to cheat here. What did we talk about? We talked about...
oh my God, yes. All of them.
May we talked about beliefs, and we started the quarter in April with understanding and capabilities, like understanding ourselves. And then we got into beliefs, behaviors, and habits, because it is those very things that prevent us from moving forward in our lives. As we age, we get more ingrained in these behaviors, beliefs, and habits. We get more cemented in. And then we use them as the excuse, and then we make excuses up based on those behaviors, beliefs, and habits. And so the goal for these last 2 months, especially, were to remind all of you to sit back with this and really look at your life and decide what's working and what's not, and what is holding you back, and really be truthful with yourself. In other words, not lie to yourself. And there's a difference between saying, what is your truth, and not lying to yourself, because in our truth, we could still lie. We could say, oh, that's me, and that's me, and that's my truth. But then you have to sit back and say, but are you actually lying about that truth? And that's what we want you to end this weekend with. So between now and next Tuesday, we want you to sit and really think about who you are, and your behaviors and your habits and your beliefs, and then say, but am I lying to myself? If I believe myself to be this way, and this is what I know about myself, now is that the truth, or am I lying to myself? Is that what I want myself to be or wish myself to be? but I'm actually not that person. That's the big eye opener. And that's what's going to shift you when you really sit there and say, no, you know what? There's still things getting in the way of me being that person. And what is it? Then you identify what is it. And we talked about environment. We talked about situations. We talked about our own just inner monologue, or dialogue, however way you want to look at it. But we've talked about all those things. So that's what we're going to be reviewing today. Good morning, Wanda. My Southern Belle is on.
Hello, Wanda.
And then we're going to be getting you ready for next month, the start of the new quarter, which is taking action and the month of potentials. That's what we're going to be talking about next month.
But just to piggyback on what you were saying, when people, when they have lied so much to themselves that they believe their lies to be their truth, and then someone calls them out on it, and then you get triggered and you get defensive and you get sensitive. I tell people, just stop. Just stop, close your eyes, just close everything out and ask yourself, why am I reacting like this? Because you've been lying to yourself. Someone called you out on it. And now all these emotions are pulling forth, and that person is the devil incarnate. So you got to, every scenario that we are dealing with in our now, in this very moment, and how we feel towards it, we got to take a deep breath, take a step back, and evaluate ourselves and our behaviors, because we're telling ourselves something and we're not listening, but because we're so quick on getting upset as someone else pointing something out within ourselves. When you do not lie to yourself, or when you constantly lie to yourself, you are constantly on edge. And don't make it about the people around you. It's you. All roads, all dreary roads lead back to you. What have you not done to heal? Why are you building fake walls around you that it's still harboring that poison, that self-poison? So ask yourself that. People are like, I can't go nowhere because people annoy me. What people annoy you? Why are you getting annoyed? See, it always comes back to you and your unhealedness, or your lack of confronting yourself and the things that you need to organize to eliminate. So I'm, like I said, Carmen had me on her show the day after I arrived. And that's what we're talking about. We have to really take a step back, and we have to let go of the one narcissistic, controlling bastard in our lives. We talk about, I used to date a narcissist. All the flags I saw were white and green when they were all red and blah, blah, blah. And that's the fear that you have allowed to imprison you. All those wanting to get away from this and grow from that, but fear grips you. The fear and the lies that we tell ourselves that we're not fearful, that it's not because of fear, it's because of lack of this or lack of that. It's lack of courage. Salud. Go ahead. Let's do the mantra.
All right, here we go. Say it loud and say it proud. I am a disruptor.
I am a disruptor.
I am unapologetically courageous.
I'm unapologetically courageous.
I am spiritually grounded.
I'm spiritually grounded.
I am magically orgasmic.
Ole.
And I keep it real.
All day, no doubt.
All right. Woo! Breathe it in. Breathe in that beauty.
Breathe it in.
Says. When you said take that breath in and then breathe it out, that's all I thought of. And your mantra, your personal thing, is so powerful when you tell people to breathe in the beauty and breathe out the bullshit, because really that is exactly what we learned over the last 6 months, is the fact that a lot of the stuff that's in our heads is bullshit. We make it more than it needs to be. We create the stories. We make things more than they are. It's not saying that situations and people are not a big player and they're dramatic and they're big. It's not saying that. There's plenty of crazy people out there, manipulative people, bad people, blah, 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 all that. But in the end, if they're affecting you, that's because we're still not holding ourselves to the level that we need to hold ourselves at. That we're not taking responsibility for how much control we actually have over ourselves. And, again, we can't stress this enough. Life is learning. Learning is lifelong. So Gladiator Guru and I are always being tested. We're always thinking that, oh, we have figured something out, and then all of a sudden something comes into our space, and we say, oh, that's interesting. And sometimes it's a little bit more than just interesting, but we take that step back and we say, okay, what am I supposed to learn here? So we're not immune to this. We've never said we were. Even though we're coaches, we are constantly growing every single day and being challenged every single day. So for those of you out there that say, well, when is this going to be over? I'm so tired of being challenged. I'm so tired of this and that. We're going
Don't be.
Don't be, because it's always going to be there. If you say, I'm tired of it, when this is going to end, you've already set yourself up for failure. You have to think of it as, this is for me. This is my life. I get to live my life the way I want to live it. And so if it is challenging, that means that I have not figured this out yet. And maybe it is that I am lying to myself, or maybe I just haven't learned my lesson yet and I'm still not strong enough. But what is really important to you? And that's what we've been working towards, is really instilling in you what is important to you. How do you want your life to be? And then understanding what is preventing you from having the life that you want to live, which is you.
Most likely.
Yes.
I mean, most of the time it's you.
Most of the time.
And you know what? How dare we say, oh, I've had enough. Why does this keep happening? Because you ain't fucking learning your lessons. You're not paying attention to your life.
Oh my God, I've said that so many times. Yep.
So you're going to keep tripping.
Yep.
You're going to keep tripping and keep falling on your face. You're going to keep, people are going to be dropping away from you because you're always vibrating at such a low frequency. So, and we're not here to attack you. What we're saying is take accountability for your behavior. Because as we said a couple shows ago, your behaviors and your habits create the world you're living in right now. And if we're all born brave, we're all born courageous. It's just that through life, we have allowed fear to take control of us. We try to break away from our parents when we're young, only to fall into the trap of fear. So now we're grown, we're adults, we're paying bills. We have to get up and go to work, whether we're sick or not, and we're still not living. We're merely existing. So it's not your ex-lover who broke your heart, or your parents who didn't hug you enough, and all of the chaos that can come with life, because you did experience some stuff. But where are you today? It's your responsibility to rise up like the phoenix. I'm not supposed to push you to the brink and say, jump. You're supposed to say, I'm going to do it. I don't feel ready. It's a steep ways to go down, but I'm not ready, but I got to fucking do it if I'm going to live. We're all so focused on dying that we're not even living. So you have to be present in your now. And now means you're going to have to write that list and say, you know what? I do suck at this. And it's okay. We're not perfect. We all have what other people will consider to be ugly traits. It's not your business what they consider ugly traits, because guess who's carrying the fucking load? You are. So why are their opinions mattering to you? You know what you got to do. So step up for yourself, show up for yourself, and get the work done. No matter how hard it is. The most difficult thing you can possibly ever do in your life is nothing.
Yeah. Just giving up. And I've been there, I did that for many years. I just gave up. I just accepted things the way they were. And where did it get me? I mean, seriously, there was a point in my life that I just didn't go forward. I didn't move any direction. I wasn't happy with the way I looked. And there's so many things that, I mean, it's in the end, it's my fault. I chose not to really see and be a part of my life, and this is the interesting thing, that what happens is when you do that, people will still do whatever the hell they want. So they're doing things around you, and they'll take advantage of that. When they see that you're not doing anything, they'll just go off and do their thing. And sometimes it pulls relationships apart because they grew and you didn't. Other times they just take advantage of you, and then they do stuff that they shouldn't be doing. And then all of a sudden, when you do finally come to, you're looking at the situation going, oh my God, how did this happen? And you want to blame everybody else around you for their choices. But, and you could just to a certain element, but in the end, you have to look at it and say, but I didn't see this. So I'm the one to blame. And this is not how I wanted my life to be. So we want you to really review all of these things in the last 6 months. What have you learned about yourself? What have you really had to admit about yourself? What are the things that you love about yourself? What are the things that you love about yourself, but they're not really coming out that much? You want to enhance them. And you have to take all of that and you have to sit with this and you have to make this decision, because what's coming up for the third quarter, it's the taking action quarter. That's what we called it. July is going to be potential month. It's going to be talking about potential. What is your potential? What is the human potential in general? What is possible, in other words? Not thinking along what our limiting beliefs are and the behaviors and habits that match those limiting beliefs. We're going to go beyond that and talk about what is possible. What is possible for you? What is possible for us? What is possible for any human? And we're going to talk about the whole entire month. Then in August, we're going to be talking about taking action based on what we've learned so far. What does taking action look like? How to do it. And then in September, we're going to end the month with gratitude. We're going to talk an entire month on gratitude, because the thing that trips people up in the process of changing their lives, when things go slowly, that people start to think back, well, this isn't working and I'm not making as much money. And I started this business and I've been already working on it for 2 years and I'm not making any money and I should just stop doing this. Instead of taking that moment to think what's right in front of them and be grateful for. And the moment that you start to shift into gratitude and live a grateful life, instead of coming from that lack mindset, things open up. It's like it opens up this piece within you that allows more things to flow in. So we're dedicating an entire month to gratitude. That's how important this is. And it's strategically placed, because we want this summer for you to be the summer of actually doing. A lot of people often seem to be more motivated in the summer, they have a little bit more free time. The weather's better. They get out more. They're doing things. They just feel lighter. So this is the month to get going. Can't make the excuse, well, the weather's bad. It's cold out. I don't want to go out, blah, blah, blah. There's no excuse. Oh, it's too hot. Well, find a place to go in that has air conditioning. Let your car warm up or cool down, should I say, with the air conditioning. And then the last quarter is going to be just an overview of everything. And that's the month of the quarter that we're going to have guests come on. We're going to be reviewing the things that we talked about for the entire year, just to make sure that you got it, so that you end this year strong. Not, oh, well, this is what I'm going to do for 2024. Say, screw waiting for 2024. I'm going to start this now. Right.
Yeah. It's like that quote, if not now, when? And if not, who? If not me, who? You have to understand that you are the king of your kingdom. You are the thread master. You're the gatekeeper. You are everything of leadership in your life. But yet you hand that over to everybody. And then you complain how you have no control over your life, or nobody lets you do what you're supposed to do. And those are just excuses. Say your line again. I love when you say it.
What? What's my line?
About excuses.
Yeah. If it's not important to you, if it's important to you, you'll find a way. If not, you'll find an excuse.
And enough. Try to record yourself one day. Just and then play yourself back, and you can really, your true colors will come out. Try to record yourself, even videotape yourself while you're having a conversation, a regular conversation with somebody, and study your facial expressions, your mannerisms, your projection, and when you say certain words, how you're conveying your messages. Sometimes your reality is really just watching yourself. So just try it. If you want to be the best you can be in this times of spiritual warfare, you want to lean closer to something bigger than who you are, not someone beside you who's struggling just the same. Because for that, you inquire within. All the answers we have. You got to learn how to inquire within and reach up to God. My God, that's what I call him, Yahweh, whatever your higher power is. And then that's who you got to lean on. But the thing is, you are here on purpose, not by mistake. Why are you living mediocrity? By not discovering your true potential. That's what this is all about. It's not about you being better than anybody around you. It's being better than who you were yesterday. And that's what you have to discover within yourself. My pen isn't working. I'm highly upset. I've been working, struggling here. But hello, Leanne. Look at, oh, thank you. I'm going to take that compliment. My hair is way back. And then I'm like, I could wear my hair differently today. So what? Yes, I love that. I love that. So stay with us, share. I know you meet somebody that's going to need it. Be that angel in disguise. When someone does a solid for you and you got to pay them back and they say, "No, I don't want that. Just pay it forward." That's all we ask is pay it forward.
Yeah, my sister loves saying that. She tells people that all the time.
Because, if you receive something, even if it was just a nugget of something that just filled your balloon that day, enough for you to float through the rest of your day, regardless of what comes your way, can you imagine if you purposely hand something to somebody just because? Probably make their week. And you do everything with discernment, and you choose to judge wisely. You don't judge socially. Oh, he's asking for money on the corner. Well, what they say, they're probably just gonna get drugs and liquor. That's not your business. It's not your business. To be quite honest with you, when I hear people say that, I'm so disgusted with them that I don't want to deal with them no more. Because how dare you? How dare any of us judge anybody's situation? My father was an alcoholic and he did his drugs, and you know what? He worked. But anytime he came to visit me, I would slide him money. Why? Because if he's going to drink, let it be on my time. Because I can't prevent him from doing what he was doing, but I can keep him safe. And those people that are there, you don't know who was raped for years. No one protected them. Who lost his entire family? Who did what? And the only thing that helps them cope is that bottle of liquor. Who are you to judge? You don't have to give money. Keep it going. But so it's either you're going to do it out of the goodness of your heart or you don't.
Yeah.
That's what I mean, how I despise people like that.
That's mindfulness practice. It's having compassion without judgment. That's where the non-judgment comes in with regards to mindfulness practices. You cannot judge and decide who deserves your compassion and empathy. You just have to be that.
Who the fuck are you? Like I look at these people like, shut the hell up. Like, and I give them that disgusting look. And I don't care if it's my sister, if it's a family member, if it's a friend, I don't care. But at that moment, let me tell you something. You might think you got it all today, but you're probably judging this person. You have extra money in your pocket because you ain't got nobody to go have dinner with or buy coffee with, but you're taking out all of your unresolved issues and you're judging someone else. Like, how dare you? Like, nobody walks through here. He without sin, throw the first stone. There's nobody that can do that. So, I mean, you look at it and I look at it, and the reason they discuss me is, first, don't be judging nobody, because we can be standing at that corner any moment.
And that goes with along with exactly what we're saying, Gladiator Guru. If we're talking about never lie to ourselves and to not lie to ourselves. When we're sitting there looking at that going, oh, look at that person over there. Look at that person. They're begging for money and they probably just going to use it for drugs. So we're basically saying that person's a liar. That person is just they're deceiving us. But again, there's that finger point, 3 fingers back. If you're looking at that and doing that, throw it back on yourself immediately. This is a great way to flip your mindset. Is the moment you start judging somebody else, take it back, just like become aware of it, take it back and say, So what am I lying to myself about? What am I deceiving other people by? Is it that I act like I'm all nice and I'm really not? Is it act like that I have money and I don't? Is it that I act like I have it all together when I'm a complete hot mess? And it's not saying you need to broadcast all that to people and let people know your exact deep, dark secrets and your vulnerabilities. All you need to do is know yourself, is to say to yourself, God, you know what? This is that I have to do this for myself. It's along the same lines of people, these beautiful people, that pastors or whoever, that will walk in these areas where there's prostitution, and they know that between the prostitution and a lot of them are users, you know, and
By force, a lot of them.
they'll walk around and they'll give them condoms and they'll give them needles, and somebody will turn around and go, well, that's stupid because that's just going to encourage them. No, it's going to keep them and whoever they're with safe. It's in other words, it's like, listen, we're not trying to solve the problem here and get them in rehab, because we already know that that's what we're doing. Is we are just trying to manage what is happening, which we know is going to continue to happen, because this is not going to stop. Will some of those people stop doing what they're doing? Hopefully, by the grace of God, they will discover that they are worth more than that and they don't need to do that, and they will get the help they need. But until then, are those individuals wrong that do that? And this is all belief. So some believe that that's encouraging, while others believe, no, this is a necessity, because the person that we could be protecting, when they put that condom on or they use a clean needle, it could be your significant other that they're sleeping with, because you didn't know that your significant other was lying to you, and then they're sleeping with you. So we have to look at ourselves and decide what is truly our belief system, and stay steadfast with this. Stay steadfast and say, this is who I am. This is who I want to be. No judgment, because we're not saying you can't be that person that's going to say, oh, well, that's just encouraging them. You do you. The thing is, though, be clear about it. Like, don't pretend that you agree with it, and then on the other side talk crap about that situation. That's what it is about lying to yourself. If you are a person that is a specific way, then be that person. Don't hide behind some facade and then act a certain way. And the thing is, like, again, we have to constantly be in check with ourselves. You know, is there something that I am hiding behind? Why am I hiding behind this?
That's exactly what I was going to say. People who tend to judge or judge lightly, they're still projecting their issues, their self-disgust onto everyone around them except themselves. So, you know, when you do become honest with yourself, see, you need to know that you have dealings to face. And then you have to have the wisdom to see it through. People think they're both the same, but they're not. And I heard something the other day, because, you know, I write a lot about knowledge and wisdom and a sage, because there's 3 levels. And the knowledge is knowing, okay, this is how simple life is. And you make it difficult because you're so busy trying to build a wall behind your ahead of your lies, so no one can see your true weakness and at times patheticness. So
Ouch.
knowledge is knowing that a tomato is a fruit. Wisdom is knowing you don't put that shit in a fruit salad. It's that simple. It is that simple, mi gente.
That was
Why do we personally, individually make life so difficult that we are slowly pouring the toxicity into the people that love us? Because we just can't get out of our own darkness. So figure it out. Everything we've talked about since January. I really, 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 really hope that you all wrote this down for every show. We said it in the beginning. I don't know if we constantly repeated it. But I really hope that since the first show, we talked about the importance of all the quarters in the beginning, that you really took a page out for every show and wrote down what you got out of it. Like, and because when you go back to it, then you're gonna see, wow, I did grow. I didn't feel it. It didn't hurt. See, a lot of us think that when we break out of this costume that we're wearing, like, hey, like the Stepford wife smile,
This
trying to
meat
convince
suit, the meat
everybody
suit.
that we're okay, but then being angry and getting it out there, you know, that you can look back and say, wow, I was going through that, but it didn't hurt. And a lot of people are so afraid of change because they're afraid of pain. And people lie to themselves because they believe it's too painful to deal with their truths. And pain, the cure for the pain is in the pain. And that's from Rumi. It's my favorite quote. You know, you can't. Frankie Ruiz, for those that are Latinos, la cura es más mala que la enfermedad. And that's what people believe, that the cure of knowing who you are and where you're coming from and where you want to go and what your purpose is worse than the disease of lying to yourself. You know what? Wake up, because you cannot enjoy the sweetness of life unless you first travel through the sour parts. And when you're at your best and you're happy, you're like, oh, I'm so happy. Guess what's going to happen? You're going to slide down, because it's just to remind you to appreciate and be grateful to what you have accomplished. It's not that the world is against you, the universe forgot about you. In order for you to constantly live in gratitude, you have to slip and fall and then appreciate those sneakers you had, or appreciate whatever it is. Oh, I should have waxed that or whatever. In order for you to always be in bliss, in gratitude, you have to experience the sour parts of life. You're going to fall. You're going to slip. You're going to lose a friend. You know, you're going to lose that job. But you're going to always gain, because for every beginning, there's an end for new beginnings. And the new beginnings have not entered your life because you're fucking stubborn and you're holding on to the old chewing gum that has already lost all its flavor. And you're wondering, why not me? Well, I don't know. Why not you? You're the one holding yourself back. Go ahead.
Just think of it this way, that you're at a crossroads. You can decide what to do now. Like, we are here for you. And if you need the extra push, remember, we're both coaches. So you can always look us up. You can always work with us. But we're here for you. And we're here until the end of the year. Like, we are here every year. This is our third year, for God's sakes. But we're here every time telling you the same thing. We want you to flip your beliefs, because if your beliefs change, then your behaviors and your habits will change. So if you flip your beliefs to be more positive, your behaviors and habits will change to be more positive, because it's inevitable. You can't sit there and say, I really believe that the path to optimal living and wellness is to eat a really healthy diet and move and exercise on a regular basis, and then say, and I'm going to do that tomorrow. And you sit on your couch and with a big bag of potato chips and cookies and soda. That doesn't work. You could say that, and it's cognitive dissonance. It's like one thing. See, it's not that you're believing that wellness means that. It means that you're saying wellness means that. But what you really believe is, I don't really care. That's the belief. I could say that, but I really don't care, because this is more important to me. When you align with that belief, the behaviors and the habits will follow. And one of the ways too to really change your way of thinking is, when we say things like, I need to do that, or I have to do that, especially I have to do that, especially if it's something you don't want to do, change it to, I get to. Instead of saying I have to do that, say I get to do that.
Yep.
Like, okay, I'll give you a funny one, right? Like, I need to go pick up dog poop in the yard. I have 2 dogs, they poop, right? So I can sit there and say, oh, I have to go pick up the dog poop. I need to go pick up the dog poop. Or I get to say, I get to pick up the dog poop. But people are like, what, are you crazy? Well, here's the thing, right? I don't mind picking up the dog poop, because I cannot stand dog poop in the yard. Like, I cannot stand it. If I'm at somebody's house and they have a dog and they haven't picked up after their dog, give me the pooper scooper. I will do it. I do not mind, because I cannot stand the dog poop in the yard. So When I am in my yard and I happen to be doing something, I see poop, I have to pick it up. I don't look at it as this horrible thing that I have to do.
Yeah.
I look at it like I get to do this so that I look around when I'm walking barefoot, I don't have to worry about stepping in dog poop. So it's little things like that. I get to go food shopping. Well, I don't really feel like food shopping. I have to go, I need to go. I get to go food shopping because that I get to pick all the foods that I want to have in my house that are healthy, instead of feeling like I have no control over what I'm eating because there's just crap in the house. But here's the key, and we said this earlier, Gladiator Guru said this earlier. When we make excuses, when we give people the key to our lives, we are giving away our power because we want the excuse, because we do not want the accountability. And then we get to say, it gives us permission to say, well, I didn't do that. Well, I didn't decide that.
It's not my fault.
That's right. And then you walk away and you're like, well, I didn't, that was their choice. And I lived my life that way for the better part of 40 years. From the time I was like 10 years old until, well, maybe not 40, about 35 years. I lived my life that way because I kind of was raised that way. I was raised in a household that they gave power away a lot, and then they would be able, and it would give them permission to bitch about, oh, well, this didn't happen and that didn't happen. And I attracted all of those people in my life too. That's the interesting thing. I attracted all those people in my life. When I finally woke up, and this was a process because I still wanted to blame other people. I still wanted to not take responsibility. And I'm still dragging that. I'm still dragging that piece, but it's definitely better than it was. But now I'm at that point where I'm like, you know what? I'm so done with that story. I'm so done with that story. So what? You know what? I made that choice. I take responsibility for it. What am I going to do about it? I'm tired of blaming other people, because what I have learned is that other people are unreliable. If you are looking for people to blame for your life and they don't satisfy you for the blame because it keeps coming back to you, this is the awakening that you need to say, okay, it's done. It's time. You have to stop blaming other people for your life. And I don't really want to be around people anymore who blame everyone else for their lives. I can't do it. I'll listen. And then when you're working as a coach, you're going to hear people say that, but I redirect them. And if they're open to the redirect, it's great. But if they keep harping on it, if they keep talking about this, I've decided, for me, because this is my choice, I don't want to be around people like that anymore, because what it's doing is it's just reminding me of the person I don't want to be anymore. So I get to walk away from those people. I get to create different relationships. I get to, because I choose to. I'm not a victim of the need or have to. I get to. Even the bad stuff, I get to do it. And there's a really good reason why I'm doing it.
Yeah, the stories we tell ourselves are always good. And then when you acknowledge that, see, the badass Buddha and I, we grew up the same but differently. My family was always, my mom was a certain kind of way growing up, always crying, looking for pity and excuses, and bleeding because of the beatings from my dad. And then I disliked her for staying there, and I resented her. And I did not come out that way. I went to the other side of the spectrum at a very young age. And it's now that I'm inching my way to the medium of my life, because she was here and I was like, I am not, at a young age, being nothing like this. So I went over here. And that was 48 years of no crying. 48 years of not wanting to cry, because I looked at women who cried as being weak and pathetic. So from the age of 6 to the age of 52, I did not cry. It was her. Because of her, I believe that I stopped crying. And it was because of her that I learned to re-cry. So she was my beginning. until her end. So, but I didn't want to be nothing like her. So I wasn't. And I worked hard towards it. But then I became another kind of monster. So you got to be careful. But in somewhere within those 48 years of not crying, I did discover who I really was. And let me tell you, I'm pretty damn awesome. I can be amazing sometimes, and I'm brilliant in other things. Okay. Why? Because I have fallen in love with myself while working on myself. And that has helped, made all the difference in the world. And the truth is, I have a long way to go, but hey, until my last breath, I am that warrior. And that's how we got to look at ourselves. I am that gladiator guru who was enslaved by society's vision, the environment vision, the tragedies that I had to endure as a child. I was that still, because there's still stuff that I'm working on, but I was that gladiator that was taken away from my home. It made a slave and made to fight in the Colosseum for the enjoyment of the people who believed were above me. And what is a gladiator? A gladiator is someone that has to fight till death in that Colosseum to impress people and that learns the skills while being enslaved to survive. That's why I am the gladiator guru, because through my actions of survival, I have also read and I have allowed myself to understand the moments that I've lived. So I became that guru. In anybody, any one of us, we all have that power over our lives. So when you decide that you don't want to be a victim of any circumstance, especially of your own fear, you become that warrior you were born to be. In my book, one of my quotes, my favorite quotes, is I was not born with peace in my heart. I was born with a sword in my hand. I have always been brave. And I'm rough around the edges, and I hope to be so until my last breath. I don't want to be passive. I don't want to be smooth so that everybody can be okay when in my presence. Because you know what? It took blood, tears, sweats, conviction, and surrender for me to become who I am today. So nobody gets to me easily. I want those jagged edges to keep the bullshit out, to keep the phonies and the fakes out and the hypocrites out, because they can't deal with sharp edges. So just everything the badass Buddha and I have told you since January is to believe in yourself. When you start cultivating that self-trust, then you start looking in the mirror and seeing beyond the image staring back at you. You can see inward. When you're walking, you start looking past your nose, thinking you know it all, thinking you have it all, thinking you can't be anything different than what you are currently. You start seeing past that and the possibilities, and then you start having these visions, and then you're like dreaming about these visions, and your imagination starts becoming vividly in color, and then you set that goal, and then you make it a reality. And they're baby steps, but each one is for you. I'm not talking about going and owning a building. I'm talking about going and owning your truth. You're not small. There's nothing about a human life that is minuscule, that is less than anybody else, that it's small. It's as big as the Empire State Building. That's how powerful you are. That's how important you are. Why are you minimizing yourself to a gas station bathroom?
Mm.
Go ahead, badass.
When you were talking about people being fake or people being what's the word you use? You said
hypocrite. I hate hypocrite.
No, you said that. But anyway, that fake people in front of you or whatever. But also, really, again, that's the whole point of this whole these last 6 months is: are you the one that's fake? Are you the one that, when you're looking at all these people and becoming aware of people not being real and true, and you're noticing this, But you also do have to take a look in that mirror and ask yourself the same question. Is that also me? That's where that owning your truth, just like Gladiator Guru said, and never lying to yourself comes into play. And if in this discovery you have learned there are certain things about you that you're still lying to yourself about, then fix them. There's no judgment here. We're not sitting there trying to make you feel bad about yourself. We're trying to say that just be done with that story already. Just say, okay, you know what? I can't do this anymore. I can't lie to myself anymore. It's time for me to step up. We're not telling you to go and announce your vulnerabilities to the world, because you have to be careful with that, because there are bad people out there that will take your vulnerability and go to town with it. So we're not telling you to do that. What we're telling you is, and we've made this pretty clear too, is find your tribe, find the people that you feel that maybe it's one person, maybe it's a few people that you can trust to help you move in that direction that you want to go. And say, you know, I never told this to anybody, or I hate admitting this about myself, but this is me. And these are the people that are not going to judge you. You know, they're not going to, you know, you may say, oh, I just hate to admit this to myself, but I pick my nose and eat it. You know, I mean, they might make a face and be like, okay, that's kind of gross, but all right, well, what do you want from me? Well, I want to stop that habit. I can't stand it. It's disgusting, but I never told anybody that before. Okay. That person will sit there and say, okay, well, let's figure this out together. Let's figure out how to get you to stop picking your nose and eating it. But it's admitting to yourself, this is what I do not like about myself. This is what I've been lying to myself about. What am I going to do about it? If you can do it yourself and flip it, great. It's possible. It is hard though. It's challenging. It can be very difficult because it's ingrained. You'd have to be constantly aware of it, and you can be, but you'll have slip ups. That's why having people in your corner for the accountability. When you are working on it yourself and then say, oh my God, I started to slip up, you know, like I want to, like, let's say you're trying to get out of this very bad relationship, and you call the person and say, I want to just text the person. I want to text the person because I'm just in the mood to. And that accountability partner is going to say to you, don't do it. Don't do it. In fact, take them off your contact list, block them off of everything, get rid of them, take them off social media, take them off your phone, because half the time we don't remember phone numbers anyway. And then
isn't that sad? But yeah,
I know. But in our corner, we have a lot more phone numbers to remember than we used to, you know.
This is true. But I want to say something about what you said when you said when you're talking, try not to worry about them judging you. And then you said that was really funny, the nose thing. Thank you for that. Even Desiree got a tickle out of it. But you know, how do I say this? Not sounding mean, but people, you're going to be judged from every angle and every person you meet, because not everybody knows discernment. But is it your business? How's that? Is it your business what other people think about you? Is it your business if other people like you? Is it your business what other people say about you? No, that's their business. Let them handle it accordingly. And you keep on your road. See, other people's interjections of your life takes you off track. They say if you stay in your lane, you won't be dealing with a lot of traffic. Sometimes being alone builds you. It builds your character. You don't need a group of people. You don't need a person. It depends who you are, but until you've tried each and every scenario, you're not gonna know, because there are people who don't know what they like. What's your favorite meal? What's your favorite dessert? They can't answer you. Like, oh, what is your lover like? Oh, he loves this. What do you like? Well, I don't know. I could deal with this. And if the kids want this, and I'll eat that. So you don't know who you are. It goes to that simplicity of life. So try a little bit. Try a little time of every scenario. Try it with a friend. Try it with 3 friends. You know, go on a Facebook group chat and put it out there and see what they tell you. And then self-isolate, even if it's for an hour. Write everything down on Post-its, put it up, read them out loud to yourself. You gotta seek every different scenario you possibly can so that you can understand you've never been here. So you need to know what's your best way.
That's a good way.
And hitting it head on.
You've never been there before. That's such a really
you don't know
brilliant
what you're
way to look at it. You don't
going
even
to.
know yourself. Yeah. New territory.
So figure it out, but figure it out one step at a time. It took you 50 years to discover this. Life is so short, but the longest journey you travel. I'm in my second half of life now. I don't have time to waste time on shit that doesn't matter to me.
Yeah.
No longer Captain Save-A-Ho. If I can, I will. If not, oh well. And the judging can come and the little, oh, she thinks she's all that. Now, I don't really care because my life is priceless. My time is priceless. And that hourglass has been flipped. So I don't have time to wonder who might get offended, who won't, all of this. I need to figure out, Father God, give me clarity and direction. What's my path? And I can veer off of it. And if I ultimately have to for my children or grandchildren, that I got to say, hold up, God, please hold my space in line. Boom. And I go handle it the best way I can handle it without overdoing it because I just feel guilty that now I'm going to go back and live my life. Then guess what? What's your purpose? Either you're the lighthouse, shining that light for people to come to safety, or you're the messengers of life, where you have to follow where you're going. Where am I going? What am I doing? How am I going to do this? But if you want to figure out how is your best way to deal with you to grow out of that cocoon and be the best you can possibly be, then you're going to have to exhaust all of your options. Is it one-on-one? Is it my 3 friends? Is it a group? Or is it me riding solo on this journey? Don't be afraid to face yourself. You've been stuck with yourself since birth. Why are you trying to avoid yourself? Put sticky notes, put them up, read them out loud. Let it come out this way. Go back in here and settle in here. If you don't do it, I can't do it for you.
No, and you have to do it just like she said, and you have to do it quietly. Like you said something, Gladiator Guru, about being with, you have to be with people. You have to be out with people. And solitude is extremely cathartic, number one. And it's also that's a lot of growth comes in. This is something that this was an awareness that hopefully you've seen it within yourself. If you're the type of person that cannot be alone, that's telling you something. That's saying something to you, that you constantly have to be around people. You constantly have to be out. You constantly have to hear what other people have to say. The moment you've come to terms with the fact that I'm constantly looking outward for validation, and then I'm hiding my vulnerabilities because I do not want the world to see. That's where you have to sit in that place. You've got to sit in there and then say, why do I feel this way? Where is this coming from? Why do I believe this way? What can my behaviors and my habits are all aligning with that? What can I change? Why do you think so many people go on pilgrimages by themselves? So many people do that, just like Gladiator Guru did. But it doesn't matter whether it's the Camino in Europe or if it's the Appalachian Trail. So many people go by themselves, or they'll go with like one other person. And they don't really even talk to each other. There's something about the travel. That's something that's within us. It challenges us. We are by ourselves with our thoughts, with nature, and then we're also traveling to see how much we can push ourselves. How far can I walk? How much can I carry? What can I do? Because it's all it's all proving to ourselves what we're capable of doing. And that's why next month is going to be a really, really fun month. It's going to be a very empowering month because we're going to be talking about potential. We're going to be talking about what is possible for you. What can you do? And if you think, when we start rattling off things to do, and you say, well, I can't do that, there you go. You got your answer. You're right. You are right. We always want to be right. That's the interesting thing. So the moment you say, I can't do that, is it that you can't or you won't?
Won't. And can't mean you won't.
And that's where you lie to yourself. So if you say, just admit it, say, I can't do that. Say, no, just say the real thing. Be like, don't lie to yourself. Say the truth. I won't do that. Okay. I won't do that. Why? Because I don't like heights or I can't do. Okay, fine. Then that's fine. Don't hide behind it.
Mm-hmm. That's what I say. When people say that, I say, can't mean you won't. So what's the real reason? Oh, you
Yeah.
can't even confront yourself with the real reason. All right, bye. Let me tell you, you brought up the pilgrimage. Let me tell you, I when I self-isolated this time last year for 4 months, it was, and I keep going back to it because I'm writing now about it. And it's just, I'm being reminded, like memories are coming back where is so much stronger than I like actually believed it was. So sometimes we got to travel back and journey because just to shake around the memories of what actually happened. And my first pilgrimage, I went solo, and I went a couple days shy of a month after burying Eric, my husband. And I went, I bought the tickets. I didn't know where the hell to go, where to exchange money. I said, you know what, fuck it, I'll figure it out when I'm there. And that's exactly what it was. I pulled into the airport. I loved the bathroom. I thought it was the cleanest bathroom I had ever been in my life besides my home. And, so, and then I'm like, okay, it's going to be okay. And then I found somebody, I asked, and I got my bus tickets. And let me tell you that walking, I met two guys, one from Maine and one from the Canary Islands, and at the airport that day. And we were like, we traveled the whole month together, but we never walked together. Like the walking was my own personal journey. Plus, I was like the dog's tail. I was always way behind. So the one of them was a quick walker. So we would give him money. He would get to the destination and pay for our beds. And then the other one would be halfway. Now the other one day I'm climbing the steep mountain. I didn't realize it. Do you know this stranger who we met a couple days earlier walked back down the mountain because he wanted to make sure I was okay. And he walked slowly back up the other part of the mountain with me. And when you think back to that, you think God is always sending us angels in different shapes, forms, rhymes, or reasons, right? And although the pilgrimage was a solitude journey, I met people. You meet people who see you for who you really are and with no expectations, like, the ones that are used to us. So sometimes we got to step outside of our box just to see who we are. Sometimes, in this instance, I totally agree with what the badass Buddha was talking about. Environment, we stay in an environment because it is a safety net, because it is comfortable, and because we are so riddled with fear that if these people don't love us, why should anybody else? If these people don't accept us and they're my blood, why should anybody else? Gotta step outside of yourself in order to understand yourself. And only you can do that. And I'm going on my third Camino, the whole 6-week one again, God willing, in September. So what?
If I put it up there, but if you want to get an idea of what it's like to be by yourself, to see like what happens, there's the movie Wild with Reese Witherspoon, but it's based on the book called Wild, which is an autobiography. The woman who wrote it is actually the one that did the trip, and it's what I love about the movie is that it really puts into perspective that quietness, because there's so many scenes where she's really by herself. And you reminded me of it because you're talking about how you just went to the Camino and you really didn't know what to expect, and you just figured you'd figure it out as you go. Sometimes that's really good to do it that way, because sometimes over planning, planning is really good when you're going to go on these treks, but over planning. And there's this one scene in the movie where she packed so much stuff that she couldn't even pick up her backpack. And this is a person who's never hiked before, let alone with that much weight on there. But you have to know where you're going, but at the same time, you don't have to plan every detail. But isn't that life? Life is about knowing where you're going, but not planning every detail in between, because you don't know the path that you're going to be on.
Yeah.
You don't know if the path is going to be rocky or smooth or wet or whatever. So when you plan accordingly, expect the unexpected. But that is life. And I think that's why so many people do these pilgrimages. It's not just about having that solitude and coming, one to become one with yourself, but it's also, it's life. It's the path of life. And
Mm-hmm.
then saying, I have no idea, I know where I'm going because I know where it's going to lead me to, but I have no idea what's going to happen between this stop and this stop. No idea what's going to happen. And I remember in the midst of this, you remember this, Gladiator, you were telling me that there was a point where both of you, hey, Nan's on. Hi, Nan. I've been thinking about you a lot. I miss you, my friend.
And Catherine Marie. Oh, look it. Thrive Health Coach said that was a great movie. She watches it often.
Yes, fabulous.
I have to watch it because I watch The Way with Martin Sheen about the Camino Santiago, or My Three Caminos on Prime, which is a eight episode thing about this wonderful people who met in the Camino. But I'm gonna watch it. Thanks for recommending it. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Remember when you were talking and you said that there was this point where you and Edita were both like climbing, and you're like, oh my God, we cannot wait to get to the other side of this because then like we're almost there. And then you got to the top and you went and you came to the crest and you realized you had so much further to go.
No, that was my first Camino.
Oh, that was your first one. That was your first
Yeah,
one.
I had to climb this mountain, and it was one of them. It wasn't like a mountain forest. This was one that it looked like, when you're going out of the village and you walk up and you walk up and so it was winding. It was like 18 degrees up. I think no, it was down. Yeah, 18 degrees up.
That's more than 18. That's
so,
more than 18.
And I was like, I get to the top and I'm like, oh, okay, that's it. And when I look over, I still had 6 miles to walk out. It was it's called La Meseta, so there's nothing. It's just greenery, no trees. 6 miles more, not only climbing down the mountain, but then at the foot of the mountain, I still had to walk 6 miles just to see a village. And that wasn't even my village. I had to walk through that village to the next village. And I was like, ooh, I brought down all the saints from heaven. I demanded all of this. And finally, I made it to the albergue, and it was called La Mochila. And it was like, they partied till like 3 a.m. there. It was awesome. And life isn't what you expect, but life is what you put into it. I mean, if I stood there, what was going to happen? Nobody was going to come save me because
that's
was nothing.
That's just it. And this is why people do these things. You can't just stand there and go, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. You could, but you're not going to go anywhere. And you could have just laid down and said, okay, I can't do this. I'm too tired. You could have fallen asleep. But at some point, you had to get back up and go. And that's the reason. This is the reason that when people do these things, they know they have to keep going. They have to keep going. But we get so comfortable in our lives to just be able to do that. I don't want to have to go. I don't want to have to go. And we lay down, and then we just blame everything and everybody for it. Instead of taking that and going, no, I chose to sit on that path and not move for a good 5, 10, 15 years. So no more. No mas. I don't want to do this anymore.
Yeah.
What will it take for it to be that push that you need? And all these 6 months that we have been working with you, what will it take for you to finally say, oh my God, I cannot do this anymore. Like, I cannot live this life anymore. It is not what I had signed up for. It is not a representation of me. I can't do this anymore. Freaking sign me up. I'm out of here. And for me, I'm at that point. I am getting ready to springboard. It's not fast enough. It sucks that I got to wait till October, but there's a very good reason that I have to wait till October because my oldest is getting married. So I'm going to wait. But I am so ready to springboard because I'm also taking my 2 younger ones with me, and they need the change as well. It's so bad that that's all I could think of. I cannot think of anything else except where I'm going, where like that move and what's going to happen. And I can't wait. But I also have to kind of stay present because.
But you're working presently for a goal that you're pre-planning. See, there's a great difference, and maybe we can talk about this on Tuesday because I know we're over time. But remember, when you overthink, people who suffer anxiety, they're overthinking in the negative way. But if you're preparing, if you're fully present in your now, like the badass is, and all she's doing is looking forward to what she has worked on to be her next level in life, there's a big difference. Like, so are you going to overthink about tomorrow that hasn't come yet and fill it with what if, should have, could have, and oh my God, what if this happens? As opposed to saying, oh my God, I'm here. I have all my stones in a row. I've paved the way. The road is paved. And I can't wait to go from here to there because you worked on it. You know exactly what you're heading into. And there's a difference. And then people take what you just said and they say, well, I do that all the time. And people always criticize. It's different. You know, don't be in tomorrow on that negative carpet that's not floating anymore. Prepare it. And then say, okay, this is what I'm going to do because I know I'm going to do this because I put the work in and I'm looking forward to it. But I also know it's not happening right now. It has to happen on such and such a time because I have planned out my life. You see, there's a great difference. And it's so powerful when you do things like that. Because once A, B, and C is done, I'm shooting to Z. And that's it. The alphabet has been covered. And so overthinking into the negative part and planning into your purpose, totally different things. And we'll talk about that because that needs to be discussed. Nanette, haven't seen you in a while, Catherine. So we're happy. Thank you, everybody, for showing today.
All right. Well, thank you for being here. And oh my God, the next time we see you, it will be July. So we will see you on July 4th. So don't miss the show. There's no excuse. You're off work. So don't miss
early
the show. And let's get talking about your potential and possibilities. So thank you, everybody, for being here. Are we done? We're good?
Done.
All right. From the Badass Buddha, remember, be you, be real, and be extraordinary.
And from the Gladiator Guru, mi gente, aquí con la Margarita, remember to breathe in the beauty and breathe out the bullshit. Namaste.